Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at noon.
We're starting with breaking news this Friday afternoon. One man is dead after a truck crashed off a bridge in Becker County. A good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Bosch. The Becker County Sheriff's Office says 48-year-old Edwin Stanhope of Waubun, Minnesota, was driving north on 2nd Street in Lake Park around 11 last night when his truck hit, then went over a bridge above the railroad tracks. The truck came to rest near the tracks. It was then hit by a piece of guardrail that had been hit by a passing train. Stanhope was taken to St. Mary's Hospital in Detroit Lakes, where he later died. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. Some new developments this noon in the Dakota access pipeline dispute. The state of North Dakota is shutting down a main road leading to the area where hundreds of protesters are gathered. The closure started just a few minutes ago at noon and is expected to go until around 3 this afternoon. The roadblock is for southbound traffic on Highway 1806 starting 6 miles south of Mandan. The Morton County Sheriff's Department says the closure is taking place because of a large number of pedestrians on the shoulder of the roadway near the protest camps. Well, we're also following a developing story out of Grand Forks today. Classes at Holy Family St. Mary's Catholic School are canceled after someone made what officials call a credible threat against the school. Paul Braun, the communications director for the Fargo Diocese, says the threat was received at the Holy Family Parish office, which is also closed today. Officials say the threat was made to either property or people connected to the school. Police say this is an open investigation and aren't releasing many more details. Anyone with information on the case is asked to contact Grand Forks Police. Classes at the school are expected to resume on Monday. Well, new for you at noon, President Obama is pushing a new plan in the fight against the deadly heroin and opioid addiction epidemic facing so many families. It's a major health crisis that is also impacting people right here in the Valley. Hannah Daniels tells us more about the president's new directives.
With the heroin and opioid epidemic killing almost 100 Americans every day, the Obama administration is now renewing its strategy to fight the public health crisis. The Justice Department plan will reportedly call for law enforcement to identify links between overprescribing doctors and distribution networks across the country. Prosecutors are being urged to more readily share information across state lines. Attorney General Loretta Lynch told USA Today there is no one magic bullet for this. President Obama's plan comes as opioid deaths, whether caused by pain pills or heroin, jumped 372% from 2000 to 2014. West Virginia, New Mexico, New Hampshire, Kentucky, and Ohio had America's 5 deadliest rates. The president spoke about the epidemic during a heroin summit in March.
The only way that we reduce demand is if we're providing treatment and thinking about this as a public health problem and not just a criminal problem.
According to USA Today, the Justice Department directive will be sent to all 94 U.S. attorney offices next week. Hannah Daniels, CBS News.
Health experts say the heroin epidemic is particularly to blame on a rise in prescription painkillers. The sale of those drugs has quadrupled since 1999, and so has the number of Americans dying from addiction to them. When prescriptions run out, people often find themselves turning to heroin as a cheaper alternative and increasingly the even more deadly drug, fentanyl. Well, the nation is marking POW MIA Day with ceremonies all across the country. Among the events, a program that was held on the Veterans Memorial Bridge this morning between Fargo and Moorhead. People paid their respects to the hardships of prisoners of war and family members of those who remain missing in action. All right, time to get a first check of our weather this Friday afternoon. We turn it over to meteorologist Lisa Green.
Good morning. It has been a soggy morning, at least. It was a soggy morning for Fargo, Moorhead, and parts of the Southern Valley. And we still have rain showers in the valley this afternoon. However, we're starting to see things brighten up a little bit in the Southern Valley, where we're getting that drier punch of air in with this system for the moment. Now, looking down in the Southern Valley, you can see we've got the visible satellite picture, and you could see some breaks in those clouds, big breaks that may allow our temperatures to rise quite a bit. Up to the north, still getting those rain showers around the Ada area into Polk County. We're seeing some showers there around Fosston, and those are lifting northward. And then there are a couple scattered showers up north along the international border too. That's where we've had some trouble all morning long with some fog, and we're still at less than a mile visibility in Langdon. temperatures right now making their way into the 60s, on our way in some places to 70. More on that and our chances for more rain this afternoon coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, we will see you then. Thanks, Lisa. Bail is set at $2 million for a man accused of killing 2 people in western North Dakota. 32-year-old Lamar Putney is charged with 2 counts of murder for a deadly shooting at a Williston apartment complex. Court documents say Putney told investigators that the 2 victims had a gun, but test results showed neither man's fingerprints were on any of the weapons recovered at the scene. The Red River Regional Dispatch Center is gearing up to start taking your 911 text messages. Next Generation 911 is now up and running, but there's still some final testing that's going on. It is expected to go live to the public in October. Experts say the technology will be especially helpful in domestic violence situations where people may not be able to make a phone call for help. Domestic violence took at least 34 lives in the state of Minnesota just last year, and it almost killed a Dilworth woman. Her family says that they are still healing years after the brutal attack. Raven Breivik was stabbed in the chest by her then husband during an argument. Today, she's having to raise her 6 kids by herself, working multiple jobs, trying to give them a better life.
At the time, she was 10. Our oldest daughter watched it. But I also think she saved me if she wasn't there. That's how I got him to stop. Was I begged him not to do it in front of her.
If you'd like to donate to Breivik's family, there's an account that has been set up at Gate City Bank. Time to get a look at this week's Valley's Most Wanted. 38-year-old David Cruz is wanted for theft of property, preventing arrest, and driving under suspension. You're asked to call your local law enforcement if you have any information. A former Bottineau, North Dakota teacher accused of having inappropriate relationships with 2 teenagers will serve 7 weeks in prison and will not have to register as a sex offender. It's all part of a plea deal. Prosecutors changed sexual assault charges against 24-year-old Melissa Dolores from felonies to misdemeanors. Prosecutors say that the victims' families agreed to the plea deal. Folks in Valley City woke up this morning to a newly elected mayor. Voters overwhelmingly said yes to Dave Carlsrud to fill the position. He won by a 5-to-1 margin over 2 other candidates on the ballot. Carlsrud will serve the remaining 2 years of the term of former mayor Bob Werkhoven. It is another huge weekend for the Bison football team as they take on Big Ten power Iowa. And make sure you join us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for the Farmers Union Insurance Bison football pregame show. Alex Egan, Ryan Gellner, and the rest of the Valley News Live Bison team will get you ready for kickoff. The game can be seen on ESPN2 at 11 a.m.